Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and Hell or High Water is better than you remember. This movie was directed by David Mackenzie, it was written by Taylor Sheridan, and it starred Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Jeff Bridges, among others. And it tells the story of two brothers, played by Pine and Foster. They are on a bank robbing spree. Due to circumstances regarding their mother and a very lengthy illness, their family ranch is about to be foreclosed upon, and so they must rob banks to raise a lot of cash quickly. But when it comes to bank robberies, it's not a case of if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Well, the brothers have made quite a bit of sound, and that sound attracts an aging sheriff played by Jeff Bridges, who is about 2 weeks away from retirement. Spoiler alert, he does not die. But the movie is a cat and mouse game between the two brothers who are trying to get enough money to A, save the ranch, and B, buy time because their ranch is sitting on oil wells that are about to burst at any minute, and the sheriff who is trying to bring them to justice and have one last run before he settles into a rocking chair. I remember seeing this movie like it was yesterday. My dad and I went to see it on a Tuesday night because at my local theater they have $5 Tuesdays, and that tradition has still continued to this day. I really had no intention of seeing this movie, but I am so glad that I did because I walked out of there just buzzing with how good it was. And I even made a video about it that unfortunately got left on the cutting room floor. I tried to make it an unedited deal, and it was garbage. So I never uploaded it. However, Hell or High Water has been kind of a white whale for me to review because of how bad that video was, and so here is me exercising that demon. I was under the impression that this movie was underrated and criminally overlooked. However, at the time, this movie got a lot of love, and doing my research, I found that really has not changed. It got critical love, it made a nice chunk of change at the box office, and it was even nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, among other accolades. Why am I always the last to know these things? Also, shout out to Rachel, my friend from Rachel's Reviews, for saying that the movie got nominated for Best Picture. I did not know that, and thank you for reminding me. But it was upon this rewatch that just made all the positive feelings for this movie just flood back into me. I love this movie to pieces. I kind of cringe when people call something a modern-day Western, because in some cases it's mostly just, oh, they're in a Western city, it's trying to look like a certain aesthetic, so it's trying to look, walk, and talk like a Western, but it really isn't. However, Hell or High Water is genuinely a modern-day Western. And this movie embraces its Western roots just in every conceivable fashion. This movie takes place in Texas, even though it was filmed in New Mexico. It still looks like Texas to me. Everybody talks in a draw of some kind, including Jeff Bridges, who talks in his Jeff Bridges voice, because I'm sure it's a cosmic law somewhere that A, Ray Liotta must be in every gangster movie, and B, Jeff Bridges must talk like he's got a wad of chewing tobacco in his mouth. There are Indians, even though they own casinos now. The two brothers rob banks, and there is a sheriff going after them, so literally cops and robbers. There are ranches, and so on and so forth. This movie owns its Western heritage, and that's what makes this movie brilliant. Another thing that makes this movie brilliant is that there's no real bad guy. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but let's just say that the brothers are really not the enemies here. From an objective lens, they are robbing banks, aka taking other people's money for their own purposes. From an objective point of view, they are clearly breaking the law, and they are in the wrong. However, the movie does a great job of showing that they're doing wrong things for the right reasons. Through visual storytelling, it is shown that these brothers have basically done everything they can to raise money and nothing has helped. So they just say to each other, okay, we gotta break the law. We just have to. The movie does a great job of showing that these guys aren't Liberty Valance. They're not doing this because they just love to. They see this as a job. And what I love about this movie is that it shows that these guys are kind of amateurs. They're not these hardened professional criminals. They do screw up. Hell, the first robbery that we see in this movie is almost horribly botched. If the bank manager had not shown up, then they would have just fallen flat on their faces. Even the bank teller is like, the only thing you're guilty of is being stupid. If you leave, then that's the only crime you commit today. I guess it's a good place to talk about the brothers, Chris Pine and Ben Foster. Chris Pine is a great actor. He's been all over the place in the new Star Trek movies, in the Wonder Woman movies, but when he gets into one of these smaller movies, he is subtly a really good actor, and that goes double here. The movie does a great job of showing that he's got his own problems. He's divorced, he's got to pay child support, and he sees this bank robbery thing as the means to an end. He knows that he's got the oil wells in his back pocket. However, if the ranch gets foreclosed on, then there's nothing for the oil wells to pay for. He is lawful evil in a sense, while his brother, Ben Foster, is chaotic evil. I saw a Letterboxd review that said that I am sick of crazy Ben Foster, and I can understand that sentiment to a certain degree. However, this is Ben Foster's best performance. Through visual storytelling, you learn that Chris Pine wants nothing to do with his brother, and that one is trying to be on the side of good, while the other doesn't give a crap about that good and evil thing. He's just here to have a good time. But Chris Pine knows that he needs his brother to help him with these jobs, and it's the only way forward. Ben Foster is the wild card here, and let's just say he meets a very fitting end. And I guess it's a good place as any to talk about Jeff Bridges, and there's a bit of a stereotype with Jeff Bridges that, he talks like this, and like I said, talks like he has chewing tobacco in his mouth. However, he turns in a really good performance here. He plays the sheriff who is literally on his last legs, and he's just a little bit of time before his retirement. And he thinks, these last 2 weeks are just going to be a breeze. However, when he starts on this case, it's like, this should be really, really open and shut. Even at a certain point in the movie, he's looking at this file and he's like, reckon I got these boys figured. But as he goes deeper into the rabbit hole, he starts to get a little more obsessed, and he realizes that this isn't as open and shut as he guessed. He doesn't go crazy or anything, he still has a moral code. However, he realizes that time is of the essence, and he wants to nail these brothers. But he knows that he's on borrowed time, so he's got to get it done quickly. And like I said, the sheriff is not the bad guy, the brothers aren't the bad guys. I mean, yes, the brothers are robbing banks, like I said. Objectively, they're doing a bad thing. However, they're doing a bad thing to do a lot of good things down the line. I think really the only bad guy you could say for this movie are the banks, because the movie does a good job of showing that the banks screwed over these brothers, and so they say to themselves, let's pull some frontier justice. And there's another thing that I love about this movie. It's the sense of urgency. This movie doesn't waste time. It's not trying to ask, what is the deeper meaning of this? No. It presents the central story, it presents the key players, and then it lets the story play itself out. And when the movie reaches a natural ending, it ends. It could be said that there are some cliches of, The Last Job and something going wrong, and there is a little bit of that here, but it's all handled so well that it kind of forgives itself. And at the end of the day, Hell or High Water is low-key excellent. I tried to find out if this movie was on Paramount Plus, since this is a CBS movie. However, I wasn't sure if I was able to find it. But if you are able to hunt this movie down, watch it. It is well worth your time, and a sleeper hit from 2016. But that is all for me. Thank you all so much as always for watching. What are your thoughts on Hell or High Water if you've seen it? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Tomorrow, being a Monday, I'm going to be dropping a Twilight Zone vlog. It's been a minute since I've done one of those. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be starting my Denis Villeneuve review series where I'll be reviewing one of his first films, Polytechnic. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.